What's good, y'all? Welcome back. I'm so happy to have one of my good friends on here today. I've known this guy for several years. This man is an impressive person to sit here and listen to. He's frankly, in real business settings, he's a young guy. But for his title, he's even younger. And that's what makes him so freaking impressive. And his story mixed with the information he's going to be able to provide for you to just break down how he actually got to where he is now and the things that you can learn about his specific profession. Frankly, because it's not I have literally never heard a single person say, I want to do that job. But guess what? That job is impacting so many other people's jobs. So to not know about that job, especially if you have the skill set, the desires, the interests related to that, you might be missing out. So today, let's get that introduction. Let's get that awareness built through this conversation. And with that being said, man, what's up, Aliou?
What's going on, Mario? Thanks for having me and pointing out my youth.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to just appreciate it. I know that they say if you are frustrated with being young, give it time. Yeah. If you're frustrated with being young, give it time. And as a person who no longer gets to enjoy those years of saying I'm in my 20s, I definitely will say just shut up and accept it. Cause
yeah, I got a few more years, so hey, we'll ride with the journey.
I did so much work to look rough and rugged with my hair growing out, so I look older when I did my jobs, which it did help because people did think that, but you could still see like dude's face is young. Like so it really didn't help as much as I thought it did, but it took about 4 years off when I cut the hair off. But nonetheless, so first question is always, do you like your job, man?
Yeah, love my job. So for those of you who don't know, I'm vice president.
You're not gonna say what your job is yet.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I saw it coming. I was like, wait,
I thought, that's when you get into the role. It's like you gotta say what your job, what you do.
I make them wait on that because because people hear everybody talking about jobs and usually they hate Mondays. So the most important thing, if you hate your Mondays, it doesn't matter what his job is. Why? Because he like his. So you can at least hear from the person who likes theirs first. And then you can figure out what the role is so you can maybe fill that role. So we start right there first. All right.
Nah, I really do like my job for the simple fact it lets me get Mondays out the way. So and what I do, I get to control my own schedule for the most part. Sorry, that's my side company phone. See, don't have that. Usually don't check that one. Anyways, no, I do, but you gotta keep it on. Not mute. So Mondays allows me to just really go in and plan my week out. I usually get all the administrative things done. So it's really one of those things. I'm in the service industry. I help organizations. So being able to meet new challenges every week and kind of just, pulling out my week and, hey, just get up and know that, hey, I have meetings on this week, Monday, Tuesday, but how am I going to attack Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? What am I going to do for these 6 hours? How am I going to improve myself? And always challenging myself. It's one of those things where, I definitely don't take it for granted because as a former athlete and anyone that's competitive, it's one of those things where if you're not sharpening the blade, if you're not getting better, if you're not meeting someone new, if I'm not always constantly on the move, then I get no results. So I have to go out and hunt what I kill, but also, kind of increase brand awareness into what I do and just do a lot of different fun little things that ultimately lead me to being successful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So let's stay in the area where we're not necessarily all on the business yet. Why? Because I need to know, what was that first profession that you ever wanted to have? Like, what's the first profession you remember wanting to have as a youth?
First profession I ever wanted to have was like an investment banker, a Wall Street banker, baby. You come over, listen. So my story, I came over to the United States when I was in 2002, shortly after 9/11. So 9/11 happened in September 2002. We came over in February. As well, things barely got in. My parents were already here. First place we touched down in was in New York. You come from Senegal, New York, in a Greyhound. You just see all these lights, man. I literally remember coming up from under a tunnel, and you just get blinded by all. There's nothing like New York ever in the world, right? So you get blinded by all these lights. You get to learn about Wall Street. You're growing up. You're like, And I had an interest in the financial, I grew up during the financial crash and just get to understand how the economy affected us. That kind of sparked my interest and how it affected me personally. So that's when I decided really I wanted to go into investment banking. I knew I always wanted to be a businessman, or what we call back home a jaikat, meaning someone who always sells something, right? So my people are known for that. We're always selling something back home, always hustling. So I just wanted to do that in the United States.
It's pretty cool, man. That's interesting. I think that's definitely reflective of you being in New York, coming from a different country at the same time, because it's like your country probably was hyping up America, talking about there was this big bright lights and the streets are paved with gold, and then you go into New York and then you realize the streets ain't gold, but the lights are so bright that it makes the street glow. And you're like,
streets dirty, they stink, bombs everywhere. You don't see it though. You just get blinded by the glow, the vision. That's the part of the mystique of America, man. Don't worry about the stuff down here. When you look at the top, it's higher than anywhere else in the world. That's a fact, man. So
yeah, and then you came to Cincinnati, or actually before that you went to Central State. And there's no shot at Central State. There's no shot at Central State. I'm just talking about the area. You come, it's like, oh, it ain't a lot of stuff around here, huh?
Yeah, a little different in New York. That most people, if you're asking back home, they only know about New York, LA. Not really Florida. So maybe a few Midwestern, and then we found our way to Cincinnati. So.
Okay, so what made you no longer want to do that? Was it that you didn't want to do it, or did you just have an opportunity that came about that switched you from maybe pursuing that?
I think it was a little bit of both. If I was gonna lean on one thing, I would say it was gonna be more on the opportunity side and how I saw it was still a fit for all of my personal goals, and just having trust in some mentors. But obviously with the financial crash and just some of the practices of Wall Street, there is a component of doing that type of job that where it does cause, I don't want to say sleepless nights, but it's a very competitive environment, very cutthroat environment. And ultimately, there are a lot of things that in those type of regulations that are not caught, that it forces you as an individual to make decisions that are not always best for people and yourself.
Yeah, let's go ahead and mute that.
Yeah, I'm just getting blown up over here. My bad.
You just hit the mute button, though.
Yo, this never happens. I'm always the guy telling people to mute people. I think you just caught me. We just started talking before. But yeah, I just didn't want to do it anymore because it was a type of environment where it was very stuffy. It was very, I didn't feel like it was a very open environment. That's not necessarily saying that where I'm at now is, I just did some internships at some major banks. It just wasn't going to be an environment where I felt like it was going to be best fit for me to grow and utilize my skills to win. So that being said, ended up going to Central State University, had an opportunity that popped up. And like I said, interned at my previous organization, got to know a little bit more about insurance and insurance brokerage. And just it was a pivotal shift where I could still be in the professional services, but I could help organizations help their people. And I think the people aspect of it was one that was more intriguing, to be able to change people's lives through the work I do, rather than just, on the monetary and money side. That just wasn't going to be something that was going to drive me every day.
I got you. Well, I mean, that's good to know about yourself, and especially to have awareness. It sounds like you had some real experiences out there that allowed you to make a clear understanding, a clear decision in the process of getting to where you are. So with that, man, all right, I drug it out. Go ahead, break down what your actual title is officially, and explain what it actually means. Not just because people hear titles and they try to act like they know what it is. It's like, like that, because the first two letters of your title can draw attention. So let's just throw that. You can say the whole thing, but be clear about what it actually means.
No, I'm not braggadocious. I like to talk about what it means rather than the title, man. You hear all these.
Still say the title.
Yeah, so I'm Vice President of Employee Health and Benefits at Marsh and McLennan. So I work for the Marsh and McLennan is the world's biggest insurance brokerage, risk management, and professional services firm. So essentially, what we do is we help organizations manage their benefits, their property and casualty, their risk management, and all various aspects of their insurance brokerage. So we do not provide the insurance, we're the consultants. So you have a business here, entity, let's say it's a manufacturing organization, and they have to get insurance, right? So they can't go out and just say, hey, so and so provide us insurance. They need a consultant and someone to speak on their behalf in order to manage their insurance program. And that's essentially where folks like myself and my 44 other thousand other colleagues, that's what we do. That's what we specialize in. So basically what I do, I'm in sales. I'm responsible for growing a book of business primarily in the manufacturing and healthcare space. Been in the industry for about 4 years. So I talk to decision makers, CFOs, CEOs, directors of HRs every day, and basically articulate our business case and the tools and resources and proprietary information that we can help them manage their program. So one of the favorite things I like to say, right? We were talking about why I didn't want to do why I didn't necessarily wanted to do investment banking, but then I came over to the brokerage world. Well, it's a cutthroat environment as well. So every organization, right, already has their consultant. So one of my favorite sayings is, it's like you're going to you're a single guy, which I am. You're going to a marriage, like whatever, a marriage dance, and you're trying to come out there with someone's wife, right? And that is essentially my job. I'm trying to get someone fired, their consultant, by articulating my business position and the value that I myself can bring to their plan management, and our organization as a whole can help them manage their people and their benefits.
Yeah. Okay. So long story short, I'm gonna rephrase. I'm gonna rephrase what you said.
Please, you
You're
know,
not
you get
really
into
trying to
you
get
get
someone
into
fired.
into industry talk too much. You kind of gets a little mumble.
My guy is a little bit more cutthroat, man. He got straight to it. Like let's say it differently. What you're trying to do is allow someone to see a greater opportunity with yourself and allow them to make a better decision than what they currently are making. Mm-hmm. And allowing that person who is currently providing them with something that's subpar to go find somebody else who may need that service because it's better for them. That's essentially what you're doing. Sometimes the older guy, the older friend has to remind the younger friend exactly what they're doing and how to change the wording. That's what you're seeing right here.
Yeah. You know, like you were talking about,
someone's life better and somebody's job easier through what he's doing, which is just, in life, you got to cut people off when you see that relationships aren't necessarily the
difference. I'm just here to help them move it along. You know, we all know they weren't providing good service. It wasn't good. They weren't attentive. The data and analytics was not good. You know, you need a young stud to bring on. I'm just a little bit more aggressive with it. Just like you said, you're a little bit more relaxed. You know, you got more of the finesse executive. That's why I'm still down here. Yeah, I'm not the executive level talking.
Yeah, whatever. So this is what I tell y'all. What y'all clearly are seeing right now also is that one of the first skills you need is to be highly competitive in this industry. Because I feel like his peers aren't going to take that personal. They're already trying to beat the crap out of him at the exact same time to win and keep their customers or take his customers, just like he's trying to take theirs. So it ain't nothing personal. It's just all about winning and being the best and having that type of competitive energy that's going to allow you to take it to another level. Now, you also have to recognize who we're talking to. We didn't say this, but we're going to bring it up now. We're talking to a collegiate football player. So he's going to have a little bit of unnecessary testosterone now that he's no longer around humans. He's a huge human, his dang self. And if you ever see a picture of me and him together, he laughs and everybody in the picture's laughing because they usually all are extremely taller. I'm 5'11", let's be clear, but there's never feet. Because if y'all ever look at a picture later on and try to act like y'all found something, I'm telling you right now, I'm always on my toes in these pictures. I'm not about to be that short in that picture. I'm sorry, son, it's not happening. And they laugh about it. I don't care if y'all know, but for imagery reasons, I refuse to be that short in every picture. because I got all these 6'3" friends. It's a wrap, son. And I know he's way higher than that, but still.
You know, that's so funny because I was just looking at the pictures of what was it was an Urban League event, and it was myself, you, Ed, and I think it's Cortland. And I was just reminiscing. I was like, I was really big during that picture, but we look good in that picture too. That's the time.
Yeah, I know, because you had Cortland looking short, you had Leon like looking just a normal height, and I'm like, nope, watch this. I'm just gonna stand on my toes. I'd be dang with that.
Funny.
All right, bro. All right, so it's interesting, man, because I think that's probably allowed you to move ahead and probably to have success. Is just your level of competitiveness. What skills and what was it about this profession that's allowed you to be successful, as well as be interested in doing it at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that was really key for me was finding mentors in this field. So other people that looked like me in the field, other people that didn't look like me were just as important who who really wanted to see me succeed. Coming from an HBCU, didn't really know much about insurance or insurance brokerage. Coming from our backgrounds, I think we talked about it a lot. Took me, I had to take the test, and it's a pretty standard test. I had to take it 4 times in order to pass. And I think, I've convinced some of my other friends. One of my best friends, he lives in Florida now. He had to take the test again and over again. I think that just comes from the understanding that we don't talk about insurance and basic insurance things in our household every day. We're not sitting down with our parents and going over the bills. A lot of us and understanding what those things mean. So it's a lot of us just stopping when we fail the first time or don't really understand the nuances of this industry. Please.
Be clear about what the name of the test was for me.
The life and health tests. So so in the insurance, there's life and health, there's CEBS or certified employee benefit specialist or certain specializations on our side. Then on the financial services, such you have like the Series 7, Series 6, Series 66, all those different types of tests that one needs to take in order to join these industries. And like I said, even though we do go to school for them, I think the basis of some of these things are set at home and just basic understandings. And I think that's causes a lot of us to stop when in actuality failing at these tests is okay and it's the normal, right? It takes 3 or 4 times. So some of the skills that I really needed to develop was just being able to find mentors, being able to just ask and seek out help and being able to learn new things. So I had to just put everything that's led me to success right now has been predicated on my abilities to learn new things and put away, it's a little different than college. So you just always have to be on your toes. They're always telling you what you need to learn in college or in, when you're coming up through school. So when you come up, you just have to really take that onus. You just have to really find people that are willing to help you out and then take on whatever they say, whether that's doing extra projects, going to different events, leading different projects, and really take that onus and diving in those first 2 to 3 years of my career has really helped me kind of get to where I needed to go. So my new thing is just, learning how to communicate with C-suite executives, taking the training, and different things like that that'll help you get to where you need to go. But some of the minor things is whatever your industry is, just dive in, find people that are going to be passionate for you, people that are going to pass down knowledge to you, and then just take whatever they say and turn it to your own thing.
Do me a favor, because a common pattern that shows up in these interviews is always the fact that people bring up mentors. And I appreciate you for doing that. Can you point out a specific instance in which you acquired a mentor? This is so that people know exactly how to approach someone. Because frankly, the average person's first mentor is going to be their parents, of course, whether they acknowledge it or not. Usually that's going to be the first one. If you're an athlete or whatnot, it might be a coach. If you're just a student, it might be a teacher that may have gravitated towards you. But as you become a professional, you start looking for somebody who's doing what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's very, very critical to success because it allows your path to be more clear opposed to you trying to pave one that already exists and you just didn't know it. So do me a favor, and I don't care which mentor, and if you don't want to say their name, you don't have to. Um, can you share exactly how you acquired the mentor, and more specifically, what it was that the mentor did to help you elevate in your professional career or in your personal life? And people talk about how mentors help them personally. I have those same experiences, so it doesn't have to be just solely your job.
Yeah, I think we talked about my youth a little bit, and 26, turning 27 next month. I think it's one of those things where we always have to humble ourselves and just realize what we know and how much we don't know. Um, at no point in my career will I ever think that I'm a know-it-all. At no point in my career, no matter how many degrees, whatever I get. So it's just having that groundness and that humility and having the courage to approach someone that is where you want to be and saying, this is who I am. I don't know what your situation is. I would love if you had extra 5, 10 minutes, whatever, lunch every month for us to get together and for me to get some advice for you. I think that's the simplest way to really get a mentor. And not everyone don't take it personally when they say no.
What did you do?
What was that?
What was it? What specifically did you do to acquire a mentor?
Yeah, so I think I'll harken back to probably someone who's been my biggest mentor thus far. His name is Ronald Todd. He's a liaison with the governor. Right.
I know, brother Todd.
Yeah, brother Todd. He's good.
He always sharp too. He always sharp.
Sharp. And let me tell you why that's been pivotal for me to grow. I met him about 3 years ago. A former city councilman was having an event at the time, and he happened to go to my university. So we all connected, all gelled.
I was really hoping you were going to be general about that. So if anyone knows about Cincinnati right now, we got some real issues with city council, and these ain't real shots at any of the city councilmen. That's why I was hoping he wasn't going to be specific about even the gender in the equation. But pretty much lets you know who it was. So keep going.
You got to choose. When you know it's a guessing game, that's how you know we're in trouble. So you can still.
Well, ain't that word guess now.
Right. So we had a dinner, man. We had a dinner at an event. It was just, I was young. This was my first year in. I still got the college suits on, man. And Ronald Todd walks up in there, fresh brother. I mean, just looking good, smelling good. Can feel the confidence. He's a big guy. I'm 6'7". He's 6'6". He's humongous guy, former football player like myself. Used to be the agent for Hugh Douglas for the Eagles. So, just really took me in, and I was just telling him a little bit more about myself and what I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish my first year in. And he just took me under his wing. The little things as far as the cologne game, sharing the cologne game with me. So as far as telling me where to go, I'm a big guy. I didn't know where to go. It's my first year. I'm barely, making a salary. I don't have enough. He's like, hey, this is where you need to go. This is my guy. Give him a call. So I'm calling his guys. I'm getting suits and everything is upgraded. So it's just, and I constantly just reach out to him, just, hey, let's go to lunch on me. Always take your mentors out to lunch. You need that time. And during the dark times, whatever was going on, he just always kept me grounded. And even now, I talked to him a few weeks ago and I was like, man, I'm so far behind at 26. I'm like, I am far behind for me. You know what I mean? And for me, I do feel like I'm far behind because there's a lot I want to accomplish within my career. God only gives us so much time, so I'm always against the race. And he's like, calm down. You're doing the right things. Keep doing the right things. So it always just grounds me. Just say, man, I want to be the best version of me to the day I die. That's literally God's on the shoes. That's how my soul's made. But he gives me that direction and that guidance to say, hey, take a step back, because he has that foresight. And not only him, but some of my other mentors, because they have that foresight, it just kind of allows me to just kind of put things into perspective and understand, one, I'm not the only person that came from poverty, that came from dirt fields in Africa to, make it over here, or that struggled. Whatever the case is, we've all had our struggles. how do we navigate those struggles? How do I tell my story? And part of that for me, he's really helped me understand is like, I need to tell my story. I need to articulate my story more. I need to be more vehement about who I am. And like we were talking about a little bit earlier, you know, the story gets deeper for each one of us, I think individually as the layers peel back. But we don't do it any justice if we don't necessarily tell our plight or our story to others who may face similar things and might choose, you know, we've all been in those vulnerable situations, who might choose a different path versus hearing our story and choose something that's, you know, that's different. So I think having the mentors have tremendously changed my life, as gives me other people who just really take different perspectives, people who I respect, people on different paths. I think for me, having women as some of my mentors is definitely key, because you can feel the I don't want to say the alpha energy, you know, just the one-sided way I think sometimes, right? I'm very go 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 go, and sometimes, you know, having those different perspectives, especially from you know, like I said, other races and just other different types of people, can help really elevate you to the next level.
Yeah, man. So you said something that is so important and can be pivotal. I'm struggling with that word right now.
It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, man. It's all right.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's something that can be so pivotal that when you hear it, it can take so much stress, ease so much anxiety. And that was, calm down, man. You're doing it right. I remember having a mentor tell me that when she was like, and it was a she actually in this case, she was like, so tell me again, what's your jobs that you've done and what's your current profession? And as I said it, she's like, okay. Yeah, man, you're pacing yourself very well. And that was so needed, because you know, some people they tell you certain salaries you need to make by certain ages to be able to reach certain heights in finance, and when you're a little bit younger and you're falling and you feel like you're not necessarily reaching that height immediately because you just aren't, it can stress you out. But when you look around the field and realize, oh, i'm I am ahead of the pack right now, or it's not even about being ahead of the pack, I'm not really running with the pack. The pack is running with themselves, and I'm running a little bit, maybe a couple steps ahead or a little bit differently than they are, especially for my age bracket. And they're all going to get to where they need to get, which is why we're running. But I'm going to potentially get to where I want to get at the pace that I was hoping I would, and I just didn't realize it. So I'm like just exhausted. I mean, we exhaust ourselves. And actually, I'm going to bring this up. There's a thing called, I remember hearing this in grad school, John Henry syndrome. And frankly, black men and black folk in general, I don't want to just put it on black men because I know how hard black women work. So black folk in general, we tend to have John Henry syndrome. And that is if you know the myth, the story about him, and that was he beat the machine on a railroad and just dropping those nails, and boom. And then right after he beat the machine, it was a bet. It was like, can he beat it because he was the best? And then machine was invented, and then he beat the machine, and everyone was proud, but he died at the end. The problem is as many black folk out here are working really hard because frankly, the environment forces us to try to show that we're not just a minority hire. We actually were the person that was qualified for this position, and you just don't know it because you don't get enough experience with us, and therefore you think that we're getting some type of job just being given to us or handed to us. And it's like, it's not true. This company looks like this because they're hiring people that they know more frequently. They don't allow me to be a part of their network. So when I'm not a part of their network, they don't allow me to join this industry and allow me to raise my net worth. So for those reasons, you missed that. And we just work so freaking hard, and we prove that we're successful, and we prove that we're supposed to be there, only for it to end us to die 10 years earlier than our white counterparts, because we have so much stress put on us, so many paper cuts frequently. And so to have someone tell you, man, hey, you're doing it right, it might have added another 2 years to your life. You hear it again, it might add another 2 years. You start to accept it, not just hear it. You might get that 10 years.
And I think, again, that's why I want to harp on having mentors, because we're not the only people who come into these roles, the only Black person in the room, only, it is what it is, my man. You need to find people that are going to be champions for you and calming down, because that is a thing. That's something I experienced at, at my first job. It was just, working so hard, raising, increasing the sales, all these other things, just for me to ask them for help on some of the things. And they tried to fire me, like, actively for 6 months. So I think it was one of those things where we have to do a better job of mentoring each other and just saying, hey, you have to look out for yourself. And that means, first of all, your mental health and your drive and your stress, making sure that's good. There is no way I would be at this job if it causes me any of that. And I have the foresight and just, to understand my worth and to understand that no job is worth my long-term stress. And I will never let a job control that ever again. I think we were talking about that, a little bit before we got on camera. So I think that we have to just understand how important that is, and to say, and that's only, I understand it's important because my mentors have harped on that. I must take care of, my family, my mental health. Things are important for me because that's what's led to me being great at the job. I wake up every day hungry, ready to kill the job because everything is stable back home, because everybody's doing well, because I'm stable myself, because they've afforded me the ability. So when a job is not doing that, when you're not in a productive environment, when you're not in a healthy environment, it's time for you to go, and it's time for you to just, again, have that foresight and have that wherewithal to have mentors that are going to direct you in that moment of time.
All right. So next, I want to discuss the process in which you acquired your job. Before we get there, I want to say this because people need to hear this. Many times they say we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, and it allows us to be a little bit taller. And that's why it's so important to have mentors. And it's also so important to mentor people, to give back, to share, to not be sitting here always trying to prove some stupid, dumb, hazing point of, I had to go through this, so you need to go through all of this. It's like, no. You went through all this, so I don't have to. If you tell me in advance exactly what you went through, so I can truly show empathy and understand what happened with you, feel it, so I don't actually have to feel it. And that way we stand taller. That's why people have generational wealth, because they're standing on more and more higher shoulders, opposed to forcing each generation to start from scratch. I get it. There's a giving pledge of some of the billionaires, but it don't sound like the majority of billionaires are participating in the giving pledge. I know Bill Gates talks about it, and Warren Buffett, and a whole lot of other people. But that ain't everybody. That means a lot of that real generational wealth is that long, old money.
Yeah.
Not participating truly in the way that you think it is. So you need to be helping your generations, your family, your friends, and shut up with that whole, I had to do all this my way, so you need to start from scratch too. Yo, you gonna just keep your family in its lower place, in a lower place than it deserves. If you always think that, you need to know how to engage people properly, so you know that they're not going to just hear this and just use this and not remember that. They need to know the struggles, even if they're not experiencing them. Know the depth of them so they respect them. I don't need to burn my hand on the fire. You could have just told me.
Yeah, I think, you bring up a great point, and not even from the monetary standpoint, because that's their prerogative, right? I made $1 billion. I want to keep it within my family, whatever. That's your prerogative. From the intellectual capital, just what we call the barbershop talk.
Mm-hmm.
The barbershop talk that is not passed down from, all the executives from, you know, and I'm talking about not just from, I don't want to say the super wealthy African American executives, obviously. Just talking about what we consider moderately wealthy, high wealth, high net orders, and we know some of them that are not passing that knowledge down because there's a perception that if I was able to do it, you should be able to do it too. If I came from poverty, you should be able to come from poverty too. Hey, you're from Africa. Hey, too bad. I grew up in whatever, St. Louis. I grew up from Southside Chicago. Africa ain't Chirac. You know how many times I've heard that? You know, all those things where it's like our struggle is one in the same because we're all being suppressed by people in a system that doesn't want to see people like us attain real wealth and power. So I think that, you know, for me, it's important to mentor. And I think I urge everyone else to just kind of say, like, pass down that intellectual capital. And for young people who want to do the right things or who are trying to come to that environment, I also challenge them to say, go seek it out and go get it. Okay. If you like, I was just, like I said, we were just coming up. If you see a fly, executive, that's how I do it, man. That's how some of my mentors come from. I go see a fly black executive, man. They got the shoes. They got, you know how we dress when we get up there. It's flamboyant. It's nice. I see they're up to something. I respect it. I go up there. I holler. I say, hey, my name is. What do you do? You know, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. I see a young fly brother with the, because I know when it comes to getting to that level of success, there's a boldness, there's a brashness that you have to walk yourself with in order to even come with those type of clothes. There's also a real sense of security of who they are as a person and who they are as a people. So that's why I always go out and say, go seek that knowledge out from older people. So I'll always be seeking that knowledge out and just make sure that it fits well within your program.
And let's be clear. The guy's sweater that he has on right now is clearly good quality. It's dope. What is the brand of that? You don't have to tell us. You really don't have to tell us. I'm making a point.
Yeah.
The guy has on a clean, nice sweater, and it's not logoed out. We're not talking about logos when we're sitting here talking about dressing nicely and looking a certain way. We're talking about the actual material, the actual value of the actual product that you're putting on, and you see somebody that looks a certain way. And we're not talking about somebody that's just walking around with a logo. Why? Because they're not focused on the name brand. They're present trying to make sure their name is a brand. It's the big difference. Some people think that we got to wear name brands. That way my name matters, but it's really the fact that you're raising all these other names up that people can see and they can't see you. But when you drop those names and make sure you're more visible while being clean, when Brock walk in the room, don't nobody give a dang what he's wearing. If LeBron walks in a room with no logo of his Nike gear, he probably wearing Nike.
The goal is, where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? It looks nice on him. You don't know. Nobody knows where he gets it from. You just know it looks nice on him.
And that's why you approach him and ask him that question. Maybe not Brock that either. Right. But nonetheless, you gotta do this. So let's get back to it, man. We in the middle of a fashion discussion. This is a really good conversation. I'm enjoying this one. I enjoy all of my interviews. But watching, just for clarity. But it's been fun because it's a little bit unorthodox compared to the ones that we usually do. But do me a favor, bring it back. Yeah. Break down the actual path that you took to get to your actual profession. And let's start in college so we know the specific major, the degree, any minors that you may have had that helped you get to this position, as well as just name the minors. Also mention if you did any internships, please keep it in order so we actually can follow the story and so the person can truly see the actual path.
Yeah, it's going to be a little longer story. It's a little unorthodox.
You can concise it, but I understand.
Yeah. So got to Central in 2014, came from a junior college. So was coming in kind of raw. that first year didn't really do too much. Was trying to play football, couldn't play football because it would take me 3 years to graduate just because transfer. So went to school, kind of just figured out my path. Didn't have any suits, man. Didn't have nothing. Just coming straight from the hood, coming from surviving JUCO. Still can't watch like whatever those shows are where they show the JUCO. It's too much trauma. I forget.
That's the show. What are you talking about? Last Chance U?
Yeah, I can't watch it, man. Can't watch it. Too much trauma. Too much. I mean, peanut butter out the cup. The coach is laughing at you when you ask for $1 to go to McDonald's and stuff. I mean, just it's too much, man. But so just coming in,
and they're laughing because they're not giving him $1 because it's illegal and it's not something that coaches can do in college. Which they convince you to come to their university. I'm a Division I athlete, my dang self. So they convince you to come to the school by sending you to an expensive hotel, allow you to eat at these expensive restaurants. They court you with all these things, and then you get there and they can't even buy you 3 bags of chips because it'll be a fine from NCAA.
I'm telling you, and listen, it was bad. It was bad. That's not a route I'll tell anybody to take willingly. So got
you went to a JUCO first, because you like I'm already in Central State. So what was the JUCO?
Yeah, so let's take it back to the JUCO before that. So I had
junior college, by the way. That's what JUCO is.
Yeah, junior college. So I had some opportunities at some D1 schools. Unfortunately, I failed senior English, man. With what was it, 59.2. Failed senior English 59.2. Was eligible for my last two games. Had to go the JUCO route. Lost my 2 D1 scholarships. One in the SEC and one in the Big East at the time. So it was just a real tough place. And then I was gonna go to another junior college in Michigan. And that summer, it's funny you say that. That summer, that junior college I shut down for inappropriately paying student athletes. So I had to scramble, go to JUCO again. So I knew, I wanted to be in business, something in business, but just couldn't really find my path because I was focused on football at the time. Came to Central, took that year off because it was going to take me 2 more subsequent years. So I wanted to finish out school and play football at the same time. So one of those things where I just really found out what I wanted to do more and what steps I need to take from it. So going to the different career fairs, man, going to career fairs, knowing how to talk to different organizations, knowing how to sell yourself, knowing how to brand yourself, knowing how to dress. That it's an art, man. You have to dress on campus. You have to dress like the first day they're gonna see you in their office. No ifs, ands, or buts. So just finding out the minute things and getting challenged. I remember one of the things that I remember repeating in the story was an investment banker from Morgan Stanley coming. So it's funny. Remember how I told you I wanted to do that first? And then there was this guy, his name is Robert Burks. He since moved out to the East Coast. We still keep in touch on LinkedIn, but he was an investment banker and for Morgan Stanley at the time. And I was just, sharing with him. It was kind of in a group format. And I was like, hey, I don't have any suits. Like I didn't know where to get some suits. And the career fair was coming up. He looked at me dead in my eye, just like with aggression, man. He's shorter, like 5'4" guy, but suited, booted, 5'5". He just looked at me. He's like, man, listen, I understand. Obviously he's from that background too. And he just said, flat out, I understand that it's a lot of things going on in your life personally, but you got to give me something. He was like, you got to give me something. Walmart, shirt, tie, slacks, something. And he's just so vehement. Like, you don't got to go get the full piece, but you got to give me something. And from there, man, it just kind of took off. I eventually ended up being elected Mr. College of Business there. And essentially, man, the key to my success was basically you have to know career services, bro. You have to be in career services every week, flat out. Most students you talk to won't even know where career services is at Central or on their campus. You know what a CAF is. You damn sure know what financial aid is. You don't know where career services is. The main goal for college is to build and get a career. Okay? Not to go have fun. And, it's all fun and games. It's like, you're going to have fun for the rest of your life, bro. Relax. Calm down.
Time out. Remember where we at, all right?
I'm just saying. I am remembering where I'm at.
No. I'm saying literally remember your space where you are in this conversation.
Oh.
So I hit timeout, and we still obviously going in the interview, but I'm saying timeout because I'm curious to know if that is a cultural thing. Because I know you mentioned you're from Senegal. I'm curious to know if, because I'm not talking about having fun, but I am talking, because we've had, not me and you, but I've had conversations many times where we're talking about the top politicians in our country. When they send their kids off to school, they're not focusing their kids solely on the degrees. They're sending their kids off to build the relationships with the other former presidents' kids, with the other senators' kids, so that they can continue to build wealth and their network and have the power that they need to move in the way they want to, or do the things they want to do with and in this country. And a part of universities, a major part of universities, I would argue, is not the education. The education I would say, be second to some degree if you know how to build relationships with everyone.
I didn't say anything about the education.
Okay.
Education is third.
I just want to make sure, because I was like,
no. I didn't say education is third in my eyes. I didn't say anything about it. Network, I would put second.
Okay. Well, I put the network first only because
I would put in art. No, I understand what you're saying, but they already have a head start. They already have something in the. That's my point. We do not. You need to stabilize yourself.
You talking about with degrees?
No, not with degrees. I'm talking about with career, finding your purpose. I separate the career. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? The career and the purpose comes first to me. Then it's the network. Then it's your education. Because like my education allows me to learn new things and to be able to process information. You know, I don't use my finance skills that often unless, you know, we're doing financial analysis or things like that. Most of it is insurance, which I had to learn. So I said to say, like, you should go to college. For us, many in our background is finding your purpose in that career to kind of start you off. So that one, you're building new skills. And I'm not saying you have to do it forever. Obviously, you know, I don't plan on being with Marshall McGlennon in my entire career. I want to be an entrepreneur at some point, but I'm learning a lot of skills. I'm happy in my role. They treat me good, and I'm bringing value to folks. So right now, I'm in a winning environment. But if you just, you know, try to go at it with the entrepreneurial mindset, although you might grow the network, you don't have the funds, you don't have the skills. When you're starting from zero, or where we're coming from, that's a different conversation than, you know, already coming up and having these insurance conversations at 14 and 12, being able to have money to start business ventures when you're 22 and things like that. So all I'm saying is that our path is different. Not necessarily we shouldn't value the relationships and things like that. We just can't look at it in the lens of white America. That's not our reality. Our reality is like we have to go to college and work and get our family out of poverty and, you know, tackle ground A, then we can move to ground 2. And unfortunately, that just is what it is.
Yeah, so I'll say this, and then I definitely want you to finish your path.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I get it. I recognize that my perspective. So I have a story. I'm not going to tell it today. It's kind of longish. But frankly, a part of me is I've always been purpose-driven. Like, before I try to find purpose in something, I know what my purpose is. Like that, before I came to college, I knew what my purpose and what my intent was. And then the career and all those other things would serve that purpose. So when I say what I'm saying, like the education is already aligned. Well, at least I thought it was, and it was to some degree, with my actual purpose. It really was. It gave me skills, but I could have acquired other degrees. I didn't have that exposure to know that. But I built the relationships, but I didn't truly understand until later the greater value I could have gotten from college had I aligned my purpose. I know my career, and right there, smack dab in the middle, is the networks that I'm building intentionally. Because, like I was going to say, a B+ average student with a friend whose family is a part of one of the largest companies in Cincinnati, because we have a lot of Fortune 500 companies here, and that person being able to tell his family member this guy is reliable, he gets the job done, and all these are true even with a B+ average, you could get a job that leapsfrog your valedictorian because they're just smart without the network. They may have networks. I'm just saying. So that's
No,
all I'm getting at.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah, absolutely.
but finish your path, man. I'm sorry for cutting you off, dog. I'm sorry
Yeah,
for cutting you off.
I'm definitely a testament to that. But yeah, so state and career services, getting back to the story of how I got matriculated into this industry, state and career services, and that was really the short of it, man. I stayed in career services. I got some opportunities. I mean, it was like as so much development wasn't there. First of all, just sending out basic emails. I could not do that. I did not know how to send out basic emails and formatting, all those other things. So it just kind of sharpened me, and just not being embarrassed of where you were at, not being embarrassed of that, and just taking that in and saying, okay, I know my goals, I know where I'm trying to go, and I know these are the tools and resources. So fought through that, man. Got an internship opportunity with the insurance brokerage, did the internship opportunity. So let me back up. Prior to the internship opportunity, man, had an interview. And this is why I always tell people, trust your guts, man. Had an interview. I knew it was going to be a little bit different just because of the type of environment and who I was going to be interviewing with. I was going to be interviewing with the CEO's son. So it was just, I had a beard at the time, long beard, way longer than I am now, obviously coming from an intern. So I was not in a position where I am now where I can, hey, tell you I'm growing my beard out, you can go kick rocks, I don't care. But, I just had a gut feeling, so I shaved my beard, bro. I shaved my beard my senior year going for the interview. And I mean, bro, totally ridiculed at school, man. Clowned on, joning on me like I just got the fresh fade. You know what I mean? And it was something where in that moment, it didn't bother me because I knew the environment where I was going into. I knew the reality of what I needed to do in order to get this job. So again, my mentors were this is another one of my men. He became a long-term mentor and still is a long-term mentor of me. That's something that he suggested, and it wasn't necessarily that I didn't understand at the time, but he was trying to make sure and ensure I had the best opportunity, and nothing was going to stop me back because they do judge us, man. This is a reality of I am a 6'7" African American Black guy with the big beard, and people if they don't know me, they see me walking, jogging, and I'm big, heavy, and puffing. Everybody thinks a certain way. That's just the reality of the world we live in. So shaved it, got the interview. It was a really hard interview, man. It was did a lot of research. So do a lot of research, man, before you go into any of these interviews. Don't take anything for granted. One of the things that really saved me was on there. I saw that they did a circuit interview. So it was 2-hour interview, 30 minutes each. And I wasn't prepared. I didn't think that's how my interview was going to go. And that's what it ended up being, so I was prepared because I saw those things. So got an internship, really saw what the job was about. Accepted the offer after my graduation. So I graduated 2017. Worked for 2.5, 3 years with that organization, just learning from the ground up, doing a lot of projects, leading a lot of projects, learning more about the industry, upgrading the swag as we talked about, right? And just getting my feet under me, and just came over into this new role at the beginning of this year. So where I'm with Marsh. So it was one of those things where you learned a lot, did a lot of internships, but just you got to put the work in, the effort in, and just take your time, man. You can't go to every party. Don't worry about that. Make sure you're at the career fair. Dress appropriately. That 3 years, 4 years flies by quickly, man. Just make sure you dress appropriately. Make sure you're doing the right things. Make sure you keep a fresh cut, bro. If you got dreads, go get them locked. Go get them locked up. Do your thing. I'm not gonna sit here and try to tell you the whole no beard, no hair. Just know your environment. Do what you got to do for your environment. Keep it tight, bro. Don't be having no beard. So I'm currently recovering from COVID too, so that's why I'm kind of roughed up. But yeah, I always keep a fresh beard, bro. Keep a fresh beard. Keep all of that, and just always do the things you need to do in order to get to the next level. Don't worry about anything else. Just believe in yourself, man.
Okay, well, I'll say this because I still need you to say what the specific degrees were.
My bad. So I ended up getting my degree in accounting and a degree in business administration with management and finance concentrations. So currently what I do is in the insurance field, but I do use some of my accounting background and some of the finance and just general business background in the insurance field. So that's what I got my degrees in. I think it's again, I always wanted to do something in business, so I started off with just business administration at Central, and then a mentor of mine convinced me that adding accounting was going to be something really valuable for me. So that's what actually made me. It took me extra time a year to graduate because I added a degree to that, and it just kind of again looking back 4 or 5 years ago when it was really hard to get to those classes. Looking back on it, it definitely increased my market value and helped me get to where I got to.
Can you tell me, you don't have to say the name of the company, but you mentioned you had several internships. Yeah. What were you doing for those internships? Did they pay also?
Yes, they paid. I never worked for an internship that doesn't pay.
That ain't true. Some of them, I mean, if it's the dream job, I got many stories that are good.
In my opinion, you should not work for an internship that doesn't pay, because then that's a reflection of either the industry or the company and where they're at, and their willingness to invest down the road is kind of negligent. That's just me.
But Charlemagne literally talked about how he was able to get his job because of that.
Radio was different. Come on now.
Les Brown talked about how he was pretty much begging to get the job. He got the job, and he was just delivering coffee and following through with things, and he was pretty much working for free.
Radio is different.
Did he?
Radio is different.
Did he? How about that? Does Diddy work? Is he good enough?
We'll agree to disagree.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of because people, I preach on here a lot, so I'm gonna push it back, and I appreciate.
Yeah, I forgot the question.
What the person who doesn't agree with me, I appreciate you giving that, but I'm gonna fight against the idea that free work doesn't pay off, because free work.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. No,
Look. Here's my argument.
Yeah.
If the university's newspaper is willing to pay me for a semester internship, and yet the Cincinnati Enquirer said you can work for us for free for the next 2 months doing something, usually I would assume they would pay, but nonetheless, if we're gonna allow you to do that,
I'm taking the Enquirer job. I'm meeting somebody at that job.
Yeah, because now you're getting put on a resume, Enquirer. So I'm just highlighting,
not even that, not even putting it on the resume. I'm gonna meet somebody at that Enquirer job that's gonna change my life. That's gonna get me. I'm not meeting anybody at the university, so I understand what
free pays off. Is all I'm saying, man.
It does.
Go ahead and talk about your internships and how you got paid, which is a big deal because people in college is broke as heck. So to get paid in the internship, it is valuable. And it don't push your education. And
those summaries, I thought I was a millionaire, man. You getting them internship checks. But no, it was a lot of experience. And more importantly, it led me to find out why I didn't want to do investment banking. It was just a lot more stale. I couldn't control my hours. It was regimented. So I got an internship opportunity with the insurance and risk management firm. Really was able to see the difference in the industry specifics than previously with investment management. So I was able to control my schedule a little bit more. I was able to have different conversations, different types of networking events, different business development roles, and I was able to use my accounting and finance background to also do business presentations, analysis, and different things like that. So it was just kind of a mixture of the healthcare aspect of it. I come from a healthcare background. My mom was a doctor back home before she came to the United States. So it's being able to help the welfare of people, and also being able to use kind of my business analytics and business aspect as far as the sales and helping organizations to kind of propel them forward to have healthy organizations. What made me decide that this is what I wanted to do versus the other options I had. And then the final part was that some of the mentors I had were really adamant about me coming into this industry. They thought I had everything that was required to be successful in this industry. So that's kind of what led me to make that decision. So I did have some amazing offers with some amazing organizations, and I still chose to come and pursue this career because I felt like it was the best fit, and it was going to be something where I was going to be the most successful at.
Okay. How did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, it's that gut feeling, man. You gotta have that gut feeling. I left a lot of money on the table, man. So the organization,
Give me a number. We talk real numbers on here.
People yeah. So let's see, man. It was an organization in Seattle. I'll leave it at that, and it was gonna be, a good role. But I left, man, $30K on a sign-in bonus. I left 45. I left 50K on the table with the role. Wow. I left 50K on the table, and this is tough, man. Everybody in my school thought I was crazy for not accepting it. Sign-on bonus immediately was 15K, and another 15 after the first year, and some crazy incentives. But the type of, although I knew it was a predominantly finance and accounting role. With my experience and with the investment banking, I knew that it was something that I didn't want to do long term, or something that wasn't going to make me get up every day and really have a passion. I just felt that I was going to set myself up for failure with that. And it was, again, name on the resume. This is why sometimes I got to disagree with that, because the name on the resume would have probably set me up for life. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, if I would have got that job, I mean, there aren't many. The way I got that job was even way crazier than this one, because it was through Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Like, I got it out in DC. So it's just crazy situation that I even ended up getting a job and being blessed to be able to do it. But it wasn't the right fit, and I wasn't going to be passionate about it. And no matter, it was going to make my family better that day. It was going to make everything better that day. If I would have, or that first year, I think a lot more people would have been happy. But for me, it just didn't drive that passion. That first year, that second year, I was at my role that I chose. I just felt that hunger, that passion to go out and get it. So you got to go with your gut.
So that's the reason why I said what I said earlier about people pursuing these high numbers, man. It's, for me, like, I know that I personally want to make a certain level of income for many of reasons. Mm-hmm. But I also stress on here, that's that Monday morning conversation I talk about not waking up and hating Mondays. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Sometimes you'll make that sacrifice, and that sacrifice is absolutely necessary, because that sacrifice is leading you in the life that you actually want to live. So you're talking about being passionate and enjoying it. And frankly, money can't buy that many times. So the salary may have been great, but the money was not going to pay for what you actually received. And that is worth more. And you knew what you wanted to do. You knew your purpose. So yeah, sometimes certain moves are going to make you better. And I think you're talking about that. I just need people to recognize that, yeah, the title, the price, it's a heck of a sacrifice. And that's even more respectable and commendable on your end, that you were able to make that sacrifice and recognize, hey man, this is the person I want to be. Like, actually, the person, the place in mind I want to be in when I wake up and I do this. So regardless of eating 50K that didn't happen, there's so many people out there probably making 250 that would give you 50K just to have what you have when you wake up in the morning. Right. So, I mean, that's important in itself for people to catch, man. That's amazing. And I'm really happy to hear that. Want to say something about the junior college, because I don't know what your actual, if you have any student loan debt or anything like that, but college debt. I will say this though, that is a slept on thing. Yes, I went to one college my whole career, and obviously that's a lot of people's dreams, especially as athletes. No one's hoping to go to a junior college. But if we're talking about finances, the community college is one of the most slept on opportunities. You go there 2 years, save thousands of dollars to get an associate's degree that allows you to get entrance into another university for the 4-year degree. So you literally did 4 years, but you may have cut how much debt or how much you had to pay in half. Like, aesthetically, talking to friends and saying, I went to Tri-C. I remember Tri-C, unfortunately, I remember in high school we made fun of Tri-C, and that's Cleveland Community College or Cuyahoga Community College. My bad, Cuyahoga Community College. But it's like, no, like that was a legit opportunity for you to really set yourself up financially, and then maybe go to another school. I mean, it's an often understated thing because of a situation like you mentioned academics, which may have put you there, which is even better because obviously you show that you can have educational struggles and then still reach good heights and be successful in college. So that's dope in itself. But yeah, go ahead, man. I see you want to say
I
something.
want to speak to that about the community college. So my sister, she's currently in Senegal, but she's gonna come back here, and we were just having that conversation. And she needs, a gap year to kind of strengthen up her English and all that.
Say what a gap year is, because a lot of people don't, especially our community, ain't heard of a gap year.
Yeah, gap year is just a year, that you take off from high school to before you attend college in order to, some people is to just to actually work, find a little bit more about their passion, just find out about themselves, travel, whatever the case is, before you go into college. So in her situation, she's lived in Senegal most of her life. She's coming back to the United States, and she is. I was just telling her, she wants to go. She's told me she wants to go to UC and do business administration. I'm like, okay, it's no problem. I'll do the business administration route. I understand why she might not want to go to a HBCU, like how I would want her to go to, because she didn't necessarily grow up in the United States, so she doesn't really understand or even know the reference about HBCU. So she's got that watered down. Go to the the predominantly white universities. You get better.
Yeah, HWCUs are always what people see most frequently as the option to go to.
Right, and that's the same in her case, right? But just talking about how, hey, you should go to a community college. You should go to Cincinnati State because one, it's gonna be less debt. You're taking a gap year plus 2 years to learn up your English. Then you can matriculate to UC after you've learned English. Your debt is low. You know how to do college life. You know how to go get that internship junior year, senior year. You get to do. You're out. Meanwhile, you come in there. You're wasting time freshman year. You wasted time sophomore year. You party, you doing all this. You don't even know what you're doing. You paying the same $30K. You barely know what you're doing. You're like a zombie. You're like a zombie going through there. And then you wake up junior year, or then some people it took me like I woke up latest junior year, senior year, boom, never look back. Never look back. But I think that my debt now is a lot better than the junior college route. So it's just about having that plan, just like thinking about having your plan. Don't go through school like a zombie.
Let's be clear. If you go to Cincinnati State, I'm telling you secrets. There's obviously certain things like a library and having a card to get in, get on the computer. So a student card and all that stuff is important. But I'll tell you a secret. I didn't live this life, but in hindsight, as an adult, if I wanted to finesse that whole situation and build the relationship, knowing I'm going to go to UC, what am I going to do? I'm going to learn everything at Cincinnati State, and right down the street is UC's campus. So I'm going to go to Tangeman Center, TUC, the student center, and I'm going to do my homework in there, talk to people, build relationships. Yeah, I may struggle with certain access, but as you build relationships, people will swipe you into the calf. Yeah. Why? Because at least during my time period, we always had way too many swipes that we couldn't eat all of. So you swipe friends in all the time. Yeah. Or if you was a teammate, you gonna swipe me in, freshman. Nonetheless, though,
I let that off campus life at Central. I definitely once in a while, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, there's ways to build that relationship. Some of those things and go to those events without being an immediate student. You can get some of those experiences. Like you go to class there, and most times we assume by you being on UC's campus, our age, and doing this test or studying that you go there. Yeah. No one's actually gonna ask generally, hey, do you go here? Yeah. It's like I'm studying, ain't I? You still didn't answer the question.
Go back to that passing down of knowledge, like you were saying, man, and just passing down the little nuances that'll help someone else get through the situation.
Definitely, man, definitely. So we're at the salary conversation point in this interview because we almost done. Tell us those numbers that you had as an intern since you're past that lifestyle. So because I want people to always know what they're getting themselves into and what financially life could look like. And then
Yeah.
I want you to discuss. I'm not looking for your actual current salary. I want to be clear. I want, especially your first job, the first profession you had. If you're willing to share that number,
Yeah.
great. If you're not, I really want to hear the opening salary,
Yeah.
the entry level salary,
Yeah.
and I want to hear what the cap is for your profession, and also what's the entry level salary for your profession as well, your current job. So let's start at the internship salaries.
Yeah, I think the internships, I think I started off my working career making what, $9, $8.50 at McDonald's, man, whatever minimum wage was.
I scrap McDonald's. What was the intern?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. So I got to the internship, I think it was like 15. Man, I thought I was getting paid like 15, 17, something like that. I think one was 15, one was 17. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing, boy. You could.
You said $9, bro. I was making $7, whatever the minimum wage was.
Whatever it was. Yeah, I don't think it was 9. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. Like it's 9. No, it was probably like 750, something like that. It was for sure something like that.
Yeah,
man.
well, not 2010. I'm thinking about freshman year. That was, yeah. Ooh, it was probably my.
Oh yeah, that was 2010, 2011. That was for me. But yeah, so so during the internship was made 15 to 17. Good money, I think, saved up. My phone broke, was able to get a phone. That was the last time I got an iPhone, actually. So this is gonna get replaced soon here. It's a 7,
You ain't gotta promote them. They ain't paying us.
Oh,
when they pay us, then they can get
anyway, yeah. So that was that. Save up, man. Save up. So don't go blowing it. Things obviously happen. So got a few offers senior year. I ended up with about 4 or 5 offers. The offers range from between $44,000 per annually, and I think the final offer I was speaking of was it was around 70. I think it was 68 before the bonuses. So made I had one for 44, one for 50K a year, one for like 52, and then one for 68 out in Seattle with all the bonuses and things like that on top of that. So yeah, it was crazy because with all my offers, man, I took like my second lowest offer, and it was crazy how I made more than my mom, and it was just like I was like, how did she? This don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think about the numbers tangibly until you start getting paid. And you're like, bro, I'm not getting paid anything. But yet the reality, like literally, and I'm a very financially conservative, and I was struggling, my man. And you're like, yeah, 50% of America will never see anything more to pass this.
He also lived in a very nice apartment in the actual downtown area of Cincinnati. I want to be clear about that. It was actually downtown Cincinnati. And the size of the apartment was actually large.
Soon as a roommate leaves, I'm like in a little shack. So you can say what you want.
Clear for everyone listening to him talk about his finances. He was paying significantly more for significantly less than what he could have had for the same price.
So I could have. That was lying.
You chose not to be downtown. You took the privilege of not having to get on the bus or drive to work.
How you gonna tell me about? No, that is not true. With the roommate, it was lower than with myself at any other place.
Okay. With the roommate, I thought you were just talking about the. Okay.
No, it wasn't me. I'm not in the penthouse. I'm not there yet. Trust me. I will not buy for anything. I don't got it.
You was on the penthouse level though.
Right.
On the penthouse level though.
Two people get a roommate, man.
There was a pool literally outside of your room.
I'm talking about you. I don't think you came to the second apartment. That was way nicer than the first one.
Okay. All right. I give you that. We ain't gonna downplay your success. But that's what we not.
No. So I think it was it was crazy receiving those offers, just getting those into my email. Like it was wild, man. So the job I did take, I was making 50,000 to start 48. Yeah, it was like 48, 49, something like that. No, it was like 50 pre-tax. So that, I felt very blessed, very fortunate. it doesn't seem like a lot of money retrospectively looking back on it, and it's not. But that's entry level for the sales role. Uh, like I said, I left like 50,000 on the table with the other offer, but it was something that I felt like I could grow quickly. Um,
You
so
mentioned your bonus obviously mixed with the salary, and you were in a sales role. So I'm just curious, was there any commission involved as well? So were there 3 levels of opportunity, or was commission not involved? It's just all salary and bonus.
no, it was base plus. So I had a base salary of 50,000, and anything I sold above that would be a commission. So it would basically, if I got an organization to come on and we charged them $50,000 for consulting fees, I would get 40% or 30%, 40% first year new sales revenue. So I think my biggest case was like 68,000. It was like 30, whatever the bonus came out to, and then I had to split it with someone. So I think my biggest case, I ended up making like 12, 15 grand on it. So that just gives you some idea of it. And this is, that was like that was a medium sized case. Some people have cases that are $100,000 cases, $120,000 cases. It just depends on the complexity of providing services for the account. So I got the base salary, and then I was out hunting and was able to land a few cases. And obviously, you coming in, you had to split those with people, right? So I had to play the split game, and lost a lot of money that way. But I was like, hey, it is what it is. I was able to take care of some things for the family myself, and now in my new role, so again, it's base plus, so I receive an annual salary that I negotiated. It just depends on where you're coming in, your level of experience, and things of that nature. So it just depends. I think for me personally, because I had some experience, I was able to negotiate a little bit higher base salary, and just again having those mentors to kind of walk me down through that nuance and say, this is what you're looking for. Hey, you've had 2 to 3 years of experience. Not only did you start this, you brought in, so this is what you're gonna need to go for. And then not shooting too high. Understanding just because there's a range doesn't necessarily mean you go and push that range all the way to the length. So for me, just understanding that and negotiating my new salary and some of the new things definitely was beneficial.
Okay. All right, man. Did you I know you mentioned different salaries in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention what the salary range is for your current profession?
So for my current
position?
For my current position, I mean it ranges. So I'm not, I don't lead our office or anything, so I'll do a guesstimate.
Like an entry level for your position and the potential height.
So entry level, we'll go with 50,000 because that's why I came in just a few years ago, and I think that's
for vice president.
Well, my organization doesn't do anything lower than that, so that's kind of how I got to March. We don't really have they do have some of the lower level, but it doesn't. They prefer to hire in for experienced hires. Like 3 years is a great experience hire for them. So that's why I said I'll stay at 50,000. That's the associate, and then basically you're coming in to the vice president or to the full-time role, employee benefits consultant, and then it's like the vice president role. So if you're like an associate, I would say entry level is 50,000. If you're employee benefits consultant, meaning that if you're coming from like another industry or just got some general business experience, you're looking at a range from about between 70 to 120. I would say probably about 60 to 120 in that range if you've got some moderate. On vice president role, I'll probably say, again, you probably come in between 90 to 100 depending on the experience, all the way to 250,000, 300,000 base salary. So there is a wide range based on the book of business, what you're able to manage, and different things like that. For my salary, you can go, like I said, it's between probably 100 to all the way to 300,000 that you can get within this industry at my role. So there are different people that lead niches and very are focused. There's some people that we have that are just focused on Fortune 500 companies in the manufacturing space, and that's all they do. obviously with specialization, you get people that go to the 400, 500,000, 600,000 salary range. And this is, might sound a little crazy, and things like that, but it's not. As you build the skills, the competencies, you're able to lead teams. You're able to deliver results to clients. You're able to save them millions of dollars by doing pharmacy analysis and things like that. You start to become highly compensated. It's a very lucrative field, insurance brokerage field. So, for example, I look at an email of my CEO. Public record. I happen to know he makes 17 million, whatever the case is, 18 million. It's a very lucrative field, but it's not one that's very well known. And even, like I said, the middle managers, it's not uncommon for them to make $1 million in a year. So it's not uncommon for a vice president. So let's say, I've been doing it 10 years. There's some people that they don't aspire to do anything more than be in the position where I'm at, because it's recurring business. So if you bring in an organization, you have a $400,000 book of business, $500,000 book of business, and that's kind of low, right? Let's say you have a 1.2, which is common, like a $1.2 million book of business, right? Or $1 million book of business, 40% renewal, that's $400,000, right? And on top of that, you're getting 60% on any new business. So let's say you got a book of $1 million, I'm getting 40% on the renewal, that's $400,000. I have a year, a $250,000 year. You're bringing, that's well over $500,000, $600,000 every year. So that's normal, and I really mean that, like, to emphasize that someone that has had a career in 10 years in insurance brokerage, 15 years in insurance brokerage, you can expect that to be bringing in that amount of money because of the businesses that they've accumulated, the annuitized nature of our business, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Man, I appreciate that, man. Any takeaways that you want to share with anybody?
No, man, I just want to say, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. I think it's just one of those takeaways where I tend to ramble a lot, but just focusing on you, man, is the biggest thing. My biggest advice is whatever the path may be for you, whatever you can glean away from our conversation, is just take the time to take away what's going to make you better, implement it, and move forward.
Okay. What I'm taking away from what you shared today is, and I must stress this to people because, frankly, people hear this. And I remember doing, I cut for a couple interviews, I cut all of this off and subtracted my life back to high school look. Nonetheless, people sometimes miss because they're trying to always be real, have people accept you. And what they miss is, this is like what I wear, my clothes. Yeah, there may be a branding aspect of me, but it is not who I am. Who I can still show up as myself and still groom myself in a way that's going to be more accepted and palatable for my environment. I may not want to do that, but that may be what I need to do. There's a process in understanding and respecting the process. As you see, my guy got a beard now, and as you see, I have my mustache and my beard now, and we're both working and enjoying our jobs. But to understand the environment, does not take away from yourself. Sometimes you need to adjust. And the second part is, I stress this, people say don't judge a book by its cover, but here's the catch. You shouldn't put a cover on a book that has nothing to do with it. If it's a cookbook, do not put the cover do not make the cover a freaking car. Like, I do not want to see that, or a physics cover. Put a food book covering on a food book. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to stand out, make sure that you are on your stuff and you qualify to stand out. Because if you show up in a room and peacock and you ain't got nothing in your brain, you have made yourself stand out not in the way that you want to. So if you got nothing in your brain and you're trying to learn as a young person, as most of us will, maybe you should learn how to come into that environment the way that everyone else looks, fit in, and once you really get a good understanding of what that is and how you're credible, then stand out. That way, when you stand out, you don't look dumb. But I got a lot of that from what you said. That's a lot of what I gathered, bro. I appreciate your time. Your risk keeps showing out and shouting out your organization. I like to give people. I like to give people a moment to go ahead and acknowledge they organizations. You don't want to acknowledge it?
I mean, everybody knows Alpha is Alpha. You know, we don't need that much acknowledgement. We already be working. You know, we're doing a lot of great things in the community, fraternity world. But you know, there are a lot of great ones out there that other people can go check out. You know, just go check out. You know, some of those things.
I feel you. I feel you. We love in general, man. You gotta love the NPHC. I absolutely recognize that everyone has their organization, and I'm always for supporting all of my fraternity organizations out there because everyone brings great value. Everyone's principles may not be your principles, but to know certain people's principles might allow you to truly be able to.
It's your podcast. I'm just, you know.
I got you. No, but no. That's the one thing I will say before we head out. Is I hate the fact that we always are still getting divided in our fraternities. I like to bring people together, which is why I was really passionate about being a part of the National Urban League, because I could unify my people opposed to be so focused on our colors, our hand signs, and our principles being better than your principles, because everybody is doing something dope in the NPHC from your organization to the others. There's 9 of us, so if I would have said your organization, I'd have to do all 9. I didn't feel like it. Yeah. But man, thank you for your time, man. I hope you all got something from this. If you won't, also look into the NPHC organizations that I mentioned, just since we shouted them out, and we pretty much shout them out every single interview because most of my people just so happen to be a part of some amazing divine organizations. So like that, to it is.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, this was fun, man. This was fun. I definitely appreciate it.